Yeah, it's your friendly neighborhood cat jungle. In this video, we're going to compare the phonetics of Sumerian cuneiform to the phonetics of ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs and prove their African connection. Cat jungle, nigga. First of all, we must understand that the Sumerians called themselves Sagiga, in which means people, Sag means head, and Giga means black, which translates as the black-headed people. And they call their land Kiangi, in which Ki means land, In means Lord, and Gi means black again. But it translates as the Black Lord's land or land of the Black Lords. But most scholars translate this word as land of the civilized lords, which is done intentionally in order to deny the racial identity of the so-called Sumerians. Sometimes you will see Kiangi written as Kianger. This is because in many instances, Gi and Ger are both interchangeable for black in the Sumerian as well as the Egyptian language. At this time, you will be given the opportunity to compare the phonetics of the Sumerian cuneiform against the Egyptian hieroglyphs. Adi in the Sumerian means to irrigate, against the Egyptian Akti, watered. We also have the Sumerian for arm. We also find the word or the sound word for arm in the Egyptian. We see the word Ara for drown. We see the word Era for river in Egypt. We see the word bar for outside in Sumerian. We see the word bur for outside in Egyptian. The word pa means wing in Sumerian. In Egyptian, the word pa means fly. In Sumerian, we see the word for house. In Egyptian, we see for castle. In Sumerian, we see for lion. In the Egyptian, we see for lion. In the Sumerian, we see Aga for crown. In Egyptian, we see Ak, to rule or to govern. In the Sumerian, we see Au as old days. In the Egyptian, we see Au as old days. In the Sumerian, we see mean for this. In the Egyptian, we see the word mean for this. In the Sumerian, we see the word ma for ship or boat. In the Egyptian, we see the word ma for ship and boat. In the Sumerian, we see the word ma also used for burn. In the Egyptian, we see the word mak used for burn. In the Sumerian, we see the word mean for crown. In the Egyptian, we see the word mean for amulet or ornament. In the Sumerian, we see the word na for us. In the Egyptian, we see the word na for us or we. In the Sumerian, we see the word nu for not or no. In the Egyptian, we see the word na for no or not. In the Sumerian, we see near for lordly. In the Egyptian, we see near, to rule, to master. In the Sumerian, we see Ker for mountain. In the Egyptian, we see the word Her for mountain. In the Sumerian, we see Suh for waist. In the Egyptian, we see Hus for waist, which is the word backwards. And you got to remember, in the Egyptian and Sumerian as well, sometimes the word means the same thing if you spell it backwards. In the Sumerian, we see Kas for run. In the Egyptian, we see the word Kas, to hasten or to be swift. In the Sumerian, we see the word Ki for earth. In the Egyptian, we see the word Kui for earth. In the Sumerian, we see the word Gu for cry, voice, or noise. In the Egyptian, we see the word Kui for weep or cry. In the Sumerian, we see the word As for curse. In the Egyptian, we see the word Ash for curse. In the Sumerian, we see the word Sa for pig. In the Egyptian, we see the word Shah for pig. In the Sumerian, we see the word Sin for battle. In the Egyptian, we see the word Shin for enmity or soldiers. In the Sumerian, we see Gigi for black, night. In the Egyptian, you see the word Kaka for black or night. In the Sumerian, we see the word Gig for black. In the Egyptian, we see the word Kik for black. In the Sumerian, we see Igi for eye. In the Egyptian, we see the word Ga for eye. In Sumerian, we see the word Igigi to see and observe. And in the Egyptian, we see the word Gaga to make eyes at. In the Sumerian, we see the word Gur, also using for oven. In the Egyptian, we see the word Gara being used for furnace. In the Sumerian, we see the word Tus, which means sit. In the Egyptian, we see the word Tas, which means sit. In the Sumerian, we see the word Tit, means life. In the Egyptian, we see the word Tichet, means life. In the Sumerian, we see the word Tug being used for clothes. In the Egyptian, the same word Tug is also used for clothes. In the Sumerian, we see the word Tub used for strike. In the Egyptian, we see the word Tib being used for strike. In the Sumerian, we see the word Tag used for attack. In the Egyptian, we see the word Tik used for attack. In the Sumerian, we see the word Tig used as approach. In the Egyptian, we see the word Tigin used for approach. In the Sumerian, we see Kisid used for buying. In the Egyptian, we see the word Kis used for buying. In the Sumerian, we see the word Sar means right. In Egyptian, the word Sar also means right. In Sumerian, the word Kum means hot. In Egyptian, the word Kam means hot. In Sumerian, the word Ama means mother. And in the Egyptian, the word Amis means to give birth. So as we see, not only by looking at the words and seeing how in some instances the Sumerian G may have been K in the Egyptian, or the D might have been interchangeable with the T, or I's may have became A's, but we see the same consonants grouping order, the same patterns being used in the word, whether it's GIG or KEK for black, or Gaga instead of Gigi to see and observe. But we see that even the phonetic sounding of the word is very much akin. The majority of Egyptian single syllable root words and the Sumerians share a common ancestor. The some of the double syllable words of the Egyptians are share also the same phonetic sounds. With so many similarities in this languages, the Sumerian and the Egyptian, I can't see how any learned scholar could ignore the evidence, the phonetic evidence, the written evidence, and still deny the fact that there was relations between the Sumerians and the Egyptians, and the Sumerian wasn't an isolated language that evolved independent of any other culture, but it was the same culture that evolved between the Nile rivers that migrated north towards the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, southern Asia, and populated and civilized those lands in the days of the archaic Homo sapiens.